Man, now I got a lot to live up to. That's one of the new intros we've been kind of playing with. And I want to kind of kick it back to the old 80s because let's be real, the 80s is hands down the best generation ever, the best decade. Those of us who are from the 80s lived it, experienced it. There's nothing like it in the world, I'm here to tell you. So welcome to today's episode of the Fan Boss Frequency. My name is Chris. I'm your host. I'm the boss of this family, as Tony Soprano would like to say. And man, I come today with something that's kind of been on my heart a little bit. As most of you know, I kind of had a rough start to the year, and it was kind of with the passing of my brother. And then when I started kind of getting back on track with that, I had a health scare, and I had a heart attack 4 years ago and some change. And I've been doing the best I can to try to stay out of trouble in that deal. And when you start getting hammered, you're like, golly, I'm not sharing, and I'm not sharing this to stay in the pain. I'm sharing this because I want to reach out to someone who may be in a similar boat that I was in. Maybe it's not health related. Maybe it's not losing a family member or a loved one, but you're kind of stuck. So at some point you have to decide whether that hard season is going to shape you or if it's going to stop you. And that's really the question, because everybody goes through something. Everybody hits a stretch in their life where they feel stuck, delayed, or just kind of out of rhythm. But the people who move forward are the ones who refuse to let a rough start become that permanent identity to them. And that's kind of where the motivation comes in. Not the fake kind, not the kind that only shows up when everything's going well. I'm talking about the kind of motivation that gets you moving when you don't feel ready. And we've talked about this before. The kind that says, I may be in a rut, but we ain't staying here. Not today. We're going to move forward. And that's what I had to tell myself. Because when life hits you hard, it's easy to settle into that place. It's easy to wake up in a fog, go through the motions and call it survival. It's easy to let grief, stress, and disappointment and fear slowly become your norm. And that grief is real. But normal's not always healthy. And just because you've been stuck there for a while doesn't mean that's where you're supposed to live. At some point, you have to light a fire under your own life and say, hey, we've already gone through this. We have to remind ourselves that momentum is built and not found. Energy is created, not waited on. And progress is chosen, not stumbled into. So that's kind of why I made a decision Friday to change my surroundings. I ripped out that standing desk in my office. I love the concept. It was great. And I stand half the time and I sit half the time, blah, blah, blah. But I just decided, that was the start of a lot of things. I've been kind of cleaning out my office and getting rid of things and all that and clutter and excess. And I'm really just trying to get my mind right. So I said, man, if quarter one has been rough, and God knows it has been. And by the way, this is going to air on the last day of the first quarter. Goodbye, good riddance, sayonara, arrivederci, all the things. I'm done with quarter one. We start with a whole fresh attitude for quarter two. So in order to do that, change my office. But it's not about the furniture. It's not about shuffling things around and getting a new office chair or, bringing back my old big boy desk and, having places to put things and organize. It's about mindset, because sometimes that rut you're in is reinforced by everything around you. It's the clutter, the routine, the same view of every day, the same setup, the same habits, the same patterns that keep whispering, stay comfortable, stay stuck, stay where you are. But you cannot get out of a rut while continuing to live exactly like the person who got into it to start with. Something has to change. Maybe it's your room, maybe it's your routine. Maybe it's the people around you. Maybe it's the way you start your mornings. It's the language you use when you talk about your life. What are you speaking into your life? But something has to have a shift, because motivation is not just about feeling. It's about motion. It's about doing the thing before you feel ready. It's about moving before the mood catches up. It's about building enough momentum that the rut no longer has the same grip on you. And let me tell you something. Momentum is powerful. Because once it starts opening doors. It's creating confidence, reminding you of who you are, rebuilding that belief in yourself. That's why the small wins matter. A cleaned up space, a finished task, a better morning routine, walking instead of, sitting still. One decision that says today, I'm not giving into the rut. That's how the momentum begins. Not with a huge speech or a perfect plan. God knows we talked about waiting for perfection. And we're not waiting for life to get easier. Because I promise you, life ain't getting no easier. It's just not. It all begins with a choice. And the choice is this: I'm not going to stay in this place forever. I may be tired, but I'm moving. I may be grieving, but I'm still building. I may have gotten knocked down, but I'm not out of the fight. And that's the mindset. And if you're listening to this and you feel stuck, I want to encourage you to stop waiting for perfection. Get moving. Start with one thing. Change a corner, change a habit, change a thought. Just change one decision. Because sometimes the first step out of the rut is not a big step. It's not a big leap. It's just refusing to sit there any longer. It's getting up and moving around. You are allowed to rebuild. By the way, you can reset. There's nothing wrong with that. And you're allowed to create a new environment for a season. And you don't have to carry the first quarter into the rest of the year. And we're not going to. See, that rough start is real. The pain is real. And the setbacks have absolutely been real. But so is your ability to rise. So is your ability to adapt and push through it. And create that momentum where there was none. That's why I asked you this question. How comfortable are you with your discomfort? Because discomfort can either trap you or train you. It can either make you bitter or make you better. It can either convince you to quit or push you to grow. But I mean, ultimately the choice is yours. And my challenge to you is simple. Don't get used to the rut. Don't settle into the slowdown. And don't be at peace with being stuck. Get uncomfortable enough to move. Get motivated enough to change and get focused enough to build again, because your future is still ahead of you. And sometimes all it takes is reaching to reach that day is just say, hey, look, right now, I got to get back on track. Sometimes you got to have that uncomfortable conversation with yourself. Michael Jackson said it best, I'm talking to the man in the mirror, or the woman in the mirror. And you got to remember, those decisions to be stuck are yours and yours alone. And I share this because I know there's a lot of people out there that are going through things in life. I'm going through a lot of things in my life, a lot of changes in my life. And I don't like change, but I don't have a choice. But I do have a choice of how I take those changes in my life and how I build and I choose to grow. So how comfortable are you with your discomfort? And what are you going to do to change it? Thanks so much for spending some time with me today. I look forward to our chat the next time. Don't forget to swing by thefamboss.com. Check out our sponsors. Leave us some comments. You can hit the listener line at 855-4 podcast. That's 855-4 podcast. Leave us a message. Hey, we might play it on the air one day. We hadn't gotten that far yet, but maybe one day. And until then, I want to thank you for spending time with me today and for your support. Make sure to like, share, and share with a friend. And anything we can do to make your life easy, we're all about it here at the Fan Boss Frequency. So stay safe, and we'll see you next time.